everybody. Dave Ryan, December 17th, 73. It's a weekly show. Thanks for tuning in. You can catch us Monday through Friday.
You should do me.
Well, you're in it now, baby.
Friday is kind of a free-for-all, though.
And mine is the fucked over.
Especially when the kids are around. Free-for-all Fridays. This is Ryan's Record. Hi, everybody. Thanks. If you made it through all the episodes this week, really appreciate that the most on Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. Yeah.
It's already too late.
It's already too late, so might as well sink the ship, right, baby? So, yeah. Ryan's Record. This has been kind of morphing into its own thing lately, and it's been kind of all over the place, but I guess that's what makes it fun, especially after a week like this week that everything seems like a distraction. This is actually a distraction. You know, this is like the loose modge podge of stuff that we don't fit in the episodes. So, and this week it happened to be the little one. So, yeah, a couple things I seen this week. Nothing too crazy. As I told Dave, I was kind of flat on politics this week. I had a really good family week, a lot of time with family, but I'll get there in December payment. But, yeah, the best investment. This was a article I read. I don't know where this is from, but the best investment idea is also the most obvious. And this was an article that was trying to make the stint that cash is the safest and best investment, and the way that I kind of took it was the United States is railing up to make the currency as strong as possible before the recession and or a war. And
can I say that that's a horrible idea?
Yeah, I mean, well,
to invest in like literally the worst thing to invest in is U.S. currency.
And that's another thing in itself, David, right? Because it's been so devalued quickly lately, but just in general, it devalues and loses its value every... Like, we know that it's not the best. It's all about real estate and diversification and 401k, right? That's what they tell you. So they're double dipping, yeah, you know? And I like the angle you took on that, because it's true. You don't get rich by hoarding cash. It's like the opposite. But then again, right. You listen to a guy like Patrick Bet-David. He said, if you have a lot of cash right now, now's the time to capitalize because you have the most purchasing power because cash walks and bullshit, cash talks and bullshit walks. You know.
Well, the thing about having a lot of U.S. currency or currency in general, the thing that's good about it is the dollar is going to be worth less tomorrow. It's just a fact. It's going to be worth less tomorrow. It's always worth less.
Well, hold on. So if it's worth $1, things are just more expensive.
Oh no. So if you buy all the things now when your money is worth the most it's going to be worth, which is today, not tomorrow, then you're accruing assets that could be worth more when you know the dollar is going to be worth less. Your best bet is to spend everything you have.
Making noise. Right, and almost go broke with cash, you mean, and just buy up assets.
You're almost better off having no cash on hand.
Hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. We're seeing in this article in particular, they were referencing the credit bubble of 2007, and some of the data they were looking at goes back to the mid-'80s, 86. They also referenced the Great Recession, and yeah, they had some graphs and stuff. I'm not going to get super dorky over it, being the pseudo-intellectual that I am. I don't want to waste too much time on it. But the main point of the story is just like, I don't know what to believe. We hear all sorts of stuff. Please, Melody. My daughter really thinks she's something else, man. We see a lot of different things, and Dave and I, once again, we're here to question the information. So I just don't know. Nobody knows what to believe, really, especially about the economy, because we're trying to bid on so many different things. But when you see all these different strategies in tow, and they tell you to do all this stuff, it is, once again, we were always told, like, you know, low debt, have a savings, 401ks, diversify, real estate, invest, like, build a business. Like, there's steps to stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So it's
the thing that's interesting is everyone's been telling people for years, oh, invest all this money in 401ks and stuff. Well, why? Well, the reason why is because they invested in other shit that's going to be worth money instead of having your cash just sit in a savings account for a 1% return.
Yeah, and then you got to hear, like, these things about people be like, well, Home Depot's really not worth what it's worth. It's like, what do you mean? You go there to buy all your stuff to build houses. Just because the company doesn't profit that much actual money. Like, how important is Home Depot in the grand scheme of America? It's like one of the most important things you can have. Home repair, right? Like commercial repair. Like, what are we talking about? That's everything we deal with, right? So yeah, David, it's interesting because it blends all the stuff, right? Politics, a little bit of religion, even. So yeah, it's just interesting. Once again, we're not here giving financial advice, but something else I seen. China. This is a Wall Street Journal news exclusive. China aids Russia's war effort in Ukraine. Trade data shows. Despite sanctions, Moscow equips its jet fighters, submarines, and soldiers with help of Chinese companies. China is providing technology that Moscow's military needs to. The Kremlin war in Ukraine, despite an internal coordination of sanctions and export control. So do sanctions work?
Maybe
this was like the big thing under Trump, right? Economic warfare, basically.
Us two pseudo intellectuals though did wonder if maybe China had been playing a role in Russia's ability to fight this war in Ukraine.
Well, what's interesting to me for this is this came out yesterday. This article is yesterday, so we're recording Sunday, so this is Saturday, the 5th of February, 2023. And this came out, and the balloon predates this. And then this is a Wall Street Journal exclusive. So anything else that's reported off of this will just be talked about as like secondhand source, not the actual. You say, like, I know I'm getting dorky here, but do we see the layers that it's required to get this information? But the balloon story was everybody had an opinion, the Department of Justice, Instagram, but
as soon as it was in U.S. territory, everyone knew it was a Chinese spy balloon.
Mm-hmm. And then this is an exclusive about Russia getting aid from China. Well, we're aiding Ukraine, right? Obviously. But the point is, like, this is how axes of war are formed. You know, now granted, we knew this was a thing. How long have we, I mean, at least for Obama, I heard that there was talk of Russia and China working together to use the ruble or the yen for international trade between the two countries. I think they went to gold as well. They tried doing oil as another one. There was a few different options that area of the world was doing. Now, granted, they're natural neighbors and other things and shared histories and borders and the Mongols. And once again, smashing together all these things, history, religion, politics. Like, we're really seeing where, like, this is cresting when we have spy balloons and two superpowers funding each other to fight a proxy war in a country that we're told to not fucking worry about. We just have to fund it with trillions of dollars so that they join an international cabal of global elites that get to tell me how much I get to drive my car and how many light bulbs I have to have and what type of light bulbs and what type of stuff
on YouTube.
And what I can say on YouTube, because YouTube's such a private company. Did I miss anything, David? Or did I go too far?
I think you got it all.
Okay.
You probably went too far for YouTube standards, but yeah, I think you got it all.
I got another one for you, considering we're fucking fortune tellers, apparently. Exclusive! CNN! See the exclusive? Supreme Court Justice used personal emails for work and, quote, burn bags were left open in hallways, sources said.
That's weird. Very high security.
Now, at the time when all this came out, we're like, there's no way they didn't know that was stolen. There's no way that they had all this information. There's no way. The Supreme Court's never had a leak before. How did this do? Is there no? And here we come out months later. This, now, mind you, this was yesterday.
Saturday. Last Saturday.
Long before the leak of a draft opinion reversing Roe v. Wade, some Supreme Court justices often use personal email accounts for sensitive transmissions instead of secure servers set up to guard such information. Hillary Clinton may have set such a precedent that, like, you can use your personal data device for classified information and get away with it.
Well, nothing happened to her, so why wouldn't you?
Well, in normal cases, they would prosecute the person, but not in this instance. James Comey's words.
I wonder why.
Not mine. Personal email accounts for sensitive transmissions instead of secure servers set up to guard such information, among other security lapses not made public in the court's report on the investigation last month. New details revealed by CNN.
CNN details.
By multiple sources familiar with the court's operations. Oh, multiple. So you're spies inside the Supreme Court? New details revealed. See how they look? See how they're like, yeah, look at what we found. Look at, we're unveiling. The emperor has no clothes when we say so. It's funny. Now, granted, I know they just do this to paint the... I'm not dumb, but it is funny. With the court's operations, even more detailed pictures of years-long lax internal procedures that could have endangered security, led to a leak, and hindered investigation into the culprit. They still don't know who does it. A former employee said this has been going on for years. Supreme Court employees also used printers that didn't produce logs or were able to print sensitive documents off-site without trafficking in burn bags meant to ensure the safe destruction of materials were left open and unattended in hallways.
That's
Whatever.
Good.
I'm not just gonna keep reading.
I'm surprised trash. I'm surprised they weren't discovered in Biden's garage.
Shoot it, spare it. Let it go back to China. U.S. officials wearing hands over options for spy balloon.
Spy balloon.
Spy balloon. Every American deserves to turn on their faucet and have clean drinking water. President Biden. This guy responds, every American deserves to look up in the sky and not see a Chinese military aircraft flying freely over their home. We don't even know if that's true. Mr. Right-Winger. Biden will try to shoot down the spy plane. Our plane's not good enough? Do you need military funding to shoot the plane down?
We should have fought it with their own balloon.
They had so many maps of this thing on like where China's located and how the weather stream works and how it could have been.
So how did another one end in South America? Was that a different weather stream?
No, same balloon, David. They used the Infinity Stone to be in two places at the same time. Nightmare fuel fungi exist in real life. Now, this is coincidence because the HBO released a TV show called The Last of Us, which is based on a video game.
Yeah.
So this is video game breaking mediums once again, which is kind of cool as somebody who has grown up with video games and admires them for artwork. It's pretty cool that it's driving actual narratives in storytelling. I have no plans of watching this. I'm not paid by HBO either.
We watched all three already.
Are they good?
There were only 3 episodes at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah, were you...
now, I know people on the right are going to be very upset because there were gay people that existed in the 3rd episode, but... very good.
It would kind of make sense when there's less people that there would be some of that same person stuff going on. Like, we just don't want to be alone. What is so... all right, anyways. Obviously, The Last of Us is on the PlayStation consoles, which I have not particularly had since like the second PlayStation, so I've been not accessible to these games. But Dave, was it good? Did you ever play the game as well? Or?
Eve played the game. I watched her play the game. She was more into it than I was. I think
did it hold water for her?
I think we have PlayStation 4 and the game for PlayStation 4. So if you ever want to borrow it, just fucking, I'll bring it over.
Okay. Yeah, that game was like made on one of the consoles and remastered for the new one. Like this is like a critical game. I think it won Game of the Year the year it was made. Very interesting.
She liked the show also. She thought it was pretty. I mean, it's tough because you're never going to make the game and just remake the game, right? Like it's always going to have your own creative spin on it when you make a show out of a game. But she thought it was pretty close. She said the girl who plays the younger 14-year-old girl who was like a main character in the game. She said the girl who's acting and playing that girl did a tremendous job. She's like just like the character.
That's awesome.
All in all, I think it was pretty good.
Yeah, that's great, man. Because video games now too are getting to the point like the Avatar movies where they put all the dots on their face and motion capture, and that's developed over cinema.
I watched the new Avatar.
Yeah, I know. That's developed over cinema and then has been incorporated in video games and motion capture over very long. I mean, I'm talking like 20 years. Like through my life, I've seen this go from cinema to video games and cinematics and video games, and we've seen this progression. And now to see it take the leap the other way and to have success, I'm only drawing this out because there literally is nothing new under the sun. The older I get, the more our ancestors, the Bible, whatever, but the stuff in there is ultra true. There's nothing new under the sun. And it was just cool to see this little article talking about a fungus that basically could turn people into what is in The Last of Us. So yeah, maybe this has always been. Maybe this story of zombies. I've heard there's zombies in the Bible, but like maybe this story is real, right? Like this whole idea of zombies and this.
Please stop talking about that stuff.
I'm sorry, baby. It is Ryan's record, not Melody's medicine. I don't know what you want from me. Speaking of biblical, gnarly pink waves crash near San Diego.
Pink waves?
Pink waves.
They're supposed to be blue, Ryan.
Pink waves don't even exist.
Yeah. Yeah, Brian, they don't even exist.
Okay, it was some kind of experiment. They were using dye. Anyways. Dude, the memes about the spy balloon getting shot down were so funny.
My favorite was this totally Chinese baroon, totally not spy baroon.
Yeah. Seeing the one with like a to-go container hanging underneath it. And then there's the ones that's like the view from Oklahoma or Montana, and it's like two trailer people waiting for it to fly over the house. It's good stuff, man. The internet's undefeated. Little wisdom I saw on the internet. Some other stuff. Forgive your parents. They were learning too. Right, baby? I don't know. There's a little positivity, you know, like everybody has their, nobody escapes their childhood unscathed, and they say, and, yeah, you know.
I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. But you also imprint something on your
take,
kids, too, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's
like,
good.
there's something
I think
toxic.
it's good that when kids aren't raised in, like, a perfect world.
There's a dude I follow on YouTube. I've brought him on the show. His name is Tom something. Tom with a B. I'm doing terrible with calling his name. But he said to his wife, he's a billionaire, he said, I don't want to have kids because I have nothing to make their life difficult. Like, they'd have the best schools, the best food, the best, like, he's like, there's no struggle for them to become, like, better, unique and interesting people. Like, what are they going to be? But a trust fund, baby.
Tate did mention that when talking about having kids. He said he wasn't going to give them shit.
He has kids. They both do. Real quick on the Chinese spy balloon. Fox News. Pentagon says another Chinese spy balloon is traveling over Latin America. Just want to put that on record because Dave did reference it. And then here we go. A little house of cards for you, David.
House of cards. It's Veep, though.
Yeah, David. I actually sent this to you. I unsubscribed to the Daily Wire. But now that I think about it, I should maybe not, just to see what the big con opposition is doing. Ben Shapiro is sitting down with what's her name? Anne
from Young Turks.
Kasparian, progressive political commentator, media host, and journalist. She's the executive producer and co-host of the Young Turks, a progressive internet news show with over 5 million YouTube subs. Which is also worth mentioning that he referenced that number when Crowder is also around that very same number.
Yeah.
Join Ann and me on today's special episode of the Sunday Special as we cross the aisle for a good faith discussion about breaking ideological bubbles and finding nuance in complex political issues. Are you? Is that what you're doing, Ben Shapiro?
Yeah, it's just, yeah. Ben Shapiro was famously yelled at by, what's his name, Chank or some shit. The fucking big loudmouth doofus from the Young Turks. They got in a debate, and Ben Shapiro, you know, all of his faults that we've mentioned recently, is still light years more intelligent than either of us, first of all, but especially light years more intelligent than Chank from the Young Turks. And they got in a debate. This was years ago. And Chank knew he couldn't keep up, so he just started shouting loudly at him.
I mean, look, I am all for talking with people with different political beliefs and aisles, but we're not breaking any fucking barriers. These people want to slam your country on a table and eat it. I don't know what else. They're cutting it up into little pieces, so you can't even tell that they're cutting it up and eating it. They're eating your history. They're eating your education. It's a metaphor, baby. I know you don't understand. But it's true. Like, that's what these people do. And Ben Shapiro meeting with some girl to try to break who is listening to this podcast but conservatives? It's only conservatives that are going to listen to that. There's nobody from the Young Turks audience flooding over to Ben Shapiro's channel to listen to rational, balanced debate.
Well, if some do too, they're not going to be like, "Oh, good point, Ben Shapiro. Oh, excellent.
No.
I never thought of it that way." That's not what's happening.
No, it's going to go see how their person did against Ben Shapiro because he's the champion.
The opposition.
And this comes right on the heels, once again, on the Crowder thing. That was only a week ago. We're sitting down and breaking political discussions and ideological barriers. The barriers that you instilled? That you promote? You promote the barriers. You promote the barriers. Whatever. I've said, we're just Americans at this point. I don't even care anymore. It's just a shame that Republicans just fall with my beliefs on a lot of things. Fuck Ben Shapiro, man. Literally, House of Cards. I'm watching you stack little cards. Nope, not a House of Cards. It's just deep. Just a bunch of idiots. I'm a millionaire. It's your fault you're poor. I'm just listening to whatever YouTube says, so I keep making millions of dollars every year. But I'm independent. Help us fight big tech. Subscribe to Daily Wire.
On Big Tech.
Literally
Don't
big tech.
subscribe to Daily Wire.
Yeah, don't
Wow.
subscribe.
She fucking called them out.
Yeah, Ben, what are you going to say now?
Yeah, Ben. You can tell kids to disagree with a little girl.
Your kid was born out of wedlock. I don't approve.
He's famous, but he's not actually famous.
Yeah. Yeah, you tell him, Melody. You tell Ben
Yeah.
Shapiro.
Yeah, you're not even famous, Ben.
Yeah, he's only famous for shutting down college kids. I'm famous for shutting down bald guys on the internet.
Yeah. Yeah, Ben.
Wait, Dad, was the mic on for that part?
Oh, yeah. Mike's on, baby. Mike's on.
You
Ben
just said baby in the video.
Oh. All right, I got one more thing, and then I got a couple story times, I guess.
I gotta say something. Cut the baby part.
Cut the baby part.
Yeah.
Dave's the producer, not you.
She comes in, she's just stating her facts, telling us when to produce and when to edit.
Give them an inch, they take
And
it.
also cut the potato tooth part.
So yeah, one quick thing, and then I guess a little story time.
I will do the story time.
So we've been hearing lately about how many jobs the greatest president in history, most elected president ever in the middle of the night, Joe Biden.
Which is Joe Biden.
Yeah, the most elected president in the middle of the night, Joe Biden, has created all of these jobs. And I follow a lot of those meme pages that talk about crypto. And they were cycling a...
Crypto's not real.
Oh, God. So I follow some of these meme pages on Instagram and crypto. And I've been kind of staying off social media. Just been kind of doing my thing. But they showed a graph, which is super important to always show. This was talked about during Obama. And it's always been talked about. If you look at labor dropout participation rate, if you look at who's getting jobs, what type of work, what the average salary, right? If they're part-time or full-time workers. And the amount of people having part-time jobs far outpaces the amount of people that got full-time jobs. So, yes, we have the most people working ever, but they're like probably working 2 jobs, or they're working whatever, almost full-time, or, various degrees of not full-time. Mm-hmm. And these are the same people that say they can't afford an apartment. So, I don't know. It's just interesting. And then I guess a few Decembertainments this week. It was all personal, but I'll still share it. My little sister had this cool idea to do make little light bulbs out of decorations. So
I'll show.
yeah, grab one. It's kind of cool idea. I don't know where she's getting these ideas from. We did plastic pumpkins for Halloween so that they were reusable every year.
Is it
But
from
these-
Pinterest?
Something, but there's like a little filament of little hearts in there I made.
And glitter, and then you shake them, and the glitter.
Yeah.
Goes everywhere.
Don't shake it too much because, it might fall off. But, yeah, so this was pretty cool. I reference it just because I had a really nice family week. I was like a Girl Scout dad. I sold a bunch of Girl Scout cookies this week.
And I got the most Girl Scout cookies in the whole entire troop.
We think so. We don't know yet.
Yeah.
But the
Well, let me know
point,
how short you are, and I'll...
we'll just pad those boxes in the middle of the night. The point of bringing it up is just cool that, the older I get to make memories like this with the kid, right? But it's just really thoughtful that my sister's making these things that we can recycle next year. I bring it up because Dave, mostly you're a father as well, and I know like Eve does cool little house stuff, and I've always seen her crafting. But it's real thoughtful stuff. It's stuff I can leave for my daughter, and it's once again also that little bit of history that you can leave for your family. And I just kind of share that. And then yeah, my true December tame this week. I didn't tell you guys last week, but I got pulled over the other day by a police officer, and I was speeding. Okay, I just want to say. I was speeding, okay?
You're incriminating yourself on camera, right?
I am not happy, though. I'm pleading not guilty, okay?
Not great evidence here, Ryan.
Okay, well...
You just said on camera publicly.
Well, they got me with a laser gun, apparently, so...
That's right.
Wait, a laser gun?
It was... So, here's the thing. It's in Hamburg, going towards a bill state. I get it. It's a state-funded highway program. I get it. The thing that pissed me off, not only was I on my way to work on a Saturday at 7 in the morning, right? So factor that in. I was now late to work after all this, but the only real thing I was real upset about was that they had an unmarked police car as the guy zapping me with the radar.
Yeah, that's right.
It just felt like entrapment. And I could not help but ask the cop that. I said, you don't think this is like entrapment? To have like an unmarked car. Then this guy had well, you were the one speeding. We've had 7 traffic fatalities at this accident, at this intersection. And I should have told him though. But like, at 7 in the morning, they all died at 7 in the morning. That's why you're here at 7 in the morning.
7 in the morning or 2 a.m. when they're getting out of the bar and they're hammered.
It's just whatever. The point of it is, it did literally feel like entrapment. And this was my first police encounter that I noticed that a cop had a camera sticking in my fucking face. Is right here on his body cam.
That's to protect you, Ryan.
Yo,
no.
Protect me, huh? Oh,
Yeah, no.
We didn't talk about this. I seen some information.
Oh, yes. Yeah, we didn't, because this came out after we did the Tyree Nichols video.
One of the cops' exes, who has a kid with him, worked at the same FedEx that dude worked at. And they had a relationship as well. So a little bit of love triangle for your little police pullover.
So that basic traffic stop for reckless driving, that's maybe why it seemed like it was pretty heated.
Oh, or the gang style beating, David. Yeah, so basically I can't wait to plead not guilty, go down to court, and argue with the judge that you got predatory police practices to pull people over and you masqueraded behind a state budget. But then I'm going to hear about how the state has so much money. And really what you're dealing with, you talk about 7 fatalities and traffic accidents and all that. How about we look at what days of the week they happened at and when they happened? Were they on Bills games? Do we have a local alcoholic problem when it comes to our sports teams in a certain area of town?
No.
Daddy, did you know police officers break the law even though they're police officers? They drink while they're driving. Because police officers should get pulled over by police officers because they're breaking the law.
Pretty simple.
6 years old, she's got it. Dave Ryan, December 17th, 73.
Wait.
What? Oh, yes, that's right. True December Entertainment this week. Dave, we're big hip-hop fans. Or, well, I guess not.
You're a bigger hip-hop fan than I am.
Yeah, I'm a huge hip-hop
To be
fan.
clear.
I don't even know. I'm like a dated hip-hop fan nowadays, minus J. Cole.
So we got Rick Ross at 50. I gotta say, there's a couple people in this list that I think are very highly ranked. Nothing
For the
Rick
record,
Ross.
I've never been a huge Rick Ross fan. Young Money, Cash Money. I've never, but
Is that guy in jail?
No.
Then why is he wearing an orange outfit?
That's just what we do. Mel. See, these are like the pioneers of hip hop.
Yeah, like there's some solid choices, right? Like,
Jadakiss.
all right, whatever. I don't know. It's hard to do a top 50. I mean,
heard of
Jesus.
Ice-T.
Like a top 50 is tough. Here's a couple where it gets
Like
kind of
Dre's a
insane.
producer, right? He's
Like,
not an
good-
artist,
like,
even though he raps.
whatever.
No way.
It's so tough to because it's art, right? So it's like I would almost rather they just said their top 50 favorites instead of greatest, because you can't rank like the greatness of these people. But I gotta say, like, some of these people, like, how is he so high? right? Nothing against him personally, but
I'd put Ludacris over Gucci Mane.
oh yeah.
And Dr. Dre's like a producer.
Like, dude, how is Common not top 15? Really top 10 though. Like, Common is pretty fucking ridiculous.
I just seen him do it.
And Most Def's pretty fucking ridiculous too. Like, these two people should be way higher ranked for sure. And then, like, what? Are you kidding? Future?
See, yeah, that's a thing too, because like that's what's crazy. Future did pioneer the trap music sound. Like T.I. and some of them were grandfathers of them, but Future like mainstream.
Sure, like
Andre and T.I. like they should be on this list too.
And and they are. But like I don't know. Whatever. Maybe it's like again, it's all opinion based. Busta Rhymes, he's pretty elite. See T.I. 32, like I seem like that's kind of low to me, but whatever.
I think right. T.I.'s Little Kim because she's first real female. Her Lauryn Hill, yeah. I mean,
it's but are we ranking pioneers of things, or are we ranking their greatness?
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like nothing against them specifically, but just saying. Yeah, all right, I guess.
I think T.I.'s a better artist than Push.
He's just legit that nobody's ever heard of, but he's great. He definitely doesn't have a big following.
Q-Tip, super old rapper right there. Big Pun. Method. KRS-One literally was at the first place where hip-hop was invented. KRS-One actually has like whole videos on the internet that are non-hip-hop related, but he makes them hip-hop related. But he talks about like the spirit and God, and he has like his own... It's on YouTube. Like if you look at, they're like he goes to like Harvard level. He has an intellectual conversation about like internal thoughts and like manifestation and thought of attraction kind of stuff. But very interesting way of putting it. Very thought provoking. He's a great speaker.
I mean, it's so hard to like. All right. I mean,
I would put definitely top like 15 or 20. DMX, I would say.
I don't know. I mean,
if you're going off album sales and like what they were at the time.
I don't know what they're going off of. That's the thing. It's like whatever. I mean, he barks, I guess. I don't know.
Big Daddy Kane. She's just got inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I think.
Missy Elliott?
Yeah. It was her.
I have a lot of respect for her. But it's tough, and I don't mean to be like a dick about this, but like
dude, the Champion sweatsuits, the 90s were so hot.
The best, I don't know, the best hip-hop artists are men. I'm sorry. They just are.
It's a guy's sport, dude. It's a guy's sport, man.
Like, to be honest, I was never a huge fan of 50 Cent, but whatever. Like, I don't know. I can't possibly put him higher than some of these other people, but whatever. It is what it is, I guess. Like I said, it's so hard. It's such a subjective list. It's such a hard thing to do.
Scarface right there is the reason why there is a parental advisory on albums.
Is that right?
Yeah. He like went to Congress and fought for it. They were trying to get him. He fought with freedom of speech, and that's one of the reasons why they have among other things like heavy metal and stuff too. But as far as like rap gangster music, they tried to like censor it and say that it was promoting all these things. And he went up there and said, "Look, this is the environment that I grew up in, and I'm just talking about it." And yeah, I'm pretty sure he's like the first rap album to get the parental advisory sticker on there.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. And then not to shit on the other pioneer, there was Ice Cube was in there as well, who would talk about all Constitution and freedoms, and he was a Trump supporter a little bit based on freedom. J. Cole 15 is crazy to me, not because he's not great, but because he like
just started.
Well, yeah. What did
in the grand schemes of things, like
what did he really do? Other than just be great at what other people built before you, which is just proving
that's
like
okay, right?
Yeah, 100%. I'm 100, but because he actually pays homage, right?
Yeah,
and he has his own sound. I'm not discrediting that. LL, like literally pioneer of hip hop.
Yeah, like I respect that. I'd put him in a top high area. Probably not top 10, but
50's pretty
like
high.
He's got to be top 10, right?
Yeah,
like
Rakim, literally
that seems way too low.
Was the first guy to rap inside of inside of, how you like hat, back, cat, sat, like when you hear people singing and rapping like that in songs. He was the first guy to structure his raps like that. And then Nas really took his style and grew on it, and then out of that came Jay-Z. And that's where, when you think of classic East Coast New York hip-hop, you think of Rakim. He is the pioneer of all that. Yeah. Andre 3000, the granddaddy of
he's top music. 10 for sure. Like, to me, top 10 for sure.
Andre's in top 10 for sure. Literally made
trap. And I gotta say, this top 10.
Kanye. Yes, Kanye as well. He was going to be in between my 6 to 10.
Yeah, I think they got a few people way too low here, so I'm interested to see what their top 10 is going to be.
Jay's got to be up here, you know.
He's going to be in the top 10 because he's not in the top 50, and I know damn well he's not below the top 50.
Yeah.
So
we're missing Drake, Nicki Minaj, Lil Wayne.
I haven't seen Nas yet. For me personally, Nas is
if Nas ain't on that list and Rakim is, like...
Yeah, for me personally, Nas is one, but like, there's a lot of people I'd already have in it. If I were to make a top 10,
Tupac,
3 people right in a row that would be in there for sure.
Diddy's not on this list. I'm sure he's going to be in there.
I don't know. Is he really known for his
he made big ability, though? No, but I get it. But Dr. Dre wasn't known for his lyrical ability, and he made West Coast hip hop, and he was what, 38?
Yeah, but this is the greatest rappers of all time, not the greatest talent finders of all time.
I understand. I'm just saying, like, like if I had to guess, you got the 3 Young Money, like Birdman's not on here. Like, what are we talking?
No, he's not a top. I don't know if I'd put him in a top anything either.
He's a billionaire. He owned all.
I don't care what he is. He's not. Yeah, but this isn't top billionaire rappers. This is.
I know, Dave. I'm just. Yeah. I don't know. Like, definitely these 5 aren't on there, and they're on there. Pac, Big, Nas, and Jay. Yeah, those are definitely. Yeah. But then we got Nicki Minaj, Lil Wayne, Drake.
Yes.
Nicki Minaj
is going to be a top 10.
Dude, she has outsold. She has to be, back to your thing about hip hop being a male sport. I agree with you, but she has outsold everybody, including men. She can only get compared. Now I know this is different things, but she can only be compared sales-wise to men in this space.
I could hear the argument that she's maybe the greatest female rapper.
Yeah. I'm not even her biggest fan. Drake, Lil Wayne, and Nicki has never... I actually appreciate their music, their older music, now that I go back and listen to it from that time. Because I was never a Young Money person. I was like, everybody's like...
See, and I like...
They were on their rise up. I was not...
See, and I liked them back then, but now I kind of don't now so much. Like, I don't like Drake now. I think Drake now kind of sucks. But when Drake first came out, like, he was pretty strong.
Yeah, I miss that, like, like preppy, high class college.
He had his own style for sure.
Yeah, he's like emotional, unavailable, vulnerable. Sing rap, like it's hot. But that was why I didn't like him at the time, right? It's because he was like this singing, rapping, slick, and I was like I was still listening to gangster rap, like 50 Cent, talking about murdering people.
See, and I never liked that side of it. I never liked 50 Cent and Eminem. I still don't like Eminem. I never did. I still don't.
I actually did.
I get it. I respect him. I just didn't like him. He wasn't my style. If I was to make a greatest rappers of all time, I'd put him in. If I was to make a favorite rappers of all time, he'd be out.
Yeah, I haven't listened to Eminem since 2016 because he made a Trump freestyle and used music to separate people. Up until then, he was like one of my biggest music influences I've ever had in my life. And I worked so hard to distance myself from him after that. It was really actually kind of hard because it's such a big print, right? Like, especially being like a white kid in suburbia growing up the way I did at that time, listening to that music. And I'm like, not a degenerate, but I'm a skater kid and causing trouble, and we're hanging out with girls and drinking, and my friends smoke. It's just like, there's a big imprint, right? And this is why, like, this list, hip-hop in general, has always spoke to me. Peterson actually talks about this, about why it's so, to the underclass of society, it's like eloquent, elegant poetry from the rung of the bottom of society, and it's like applicable to everybody. So, I don't know, interesting. Dave, it was a great idea. Thanks for sharing. I appreciate you for your time this week and every day, as always. Same to you guys. If you made it to the end, I appreciate you most. You can catch me, Ryan, and Dave from December 1773, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern on The Weekly Show. YouTube, Rumble, and Facebook. We'll both be there, World Health Organization permitting. later. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Peace, blood.
Good.